office. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Mechs on Deck. Today we are joined again with a good friend of the stream, Mr. Taeha Types.
Friend.
How
No
you doing?
way. Hello. I'm doing good. How are you guys? How's chat?
How you doing, chat? I know there's quite a few of you here tonight. Welcome, everyone.
You know what I love about friends? Friends remember times and dates. Friends don't forget names.
I'm gonna walk out right now.
That would be a first. I don't think we've never had someone that just like in the middle of like the session just like ends the call and it's just like, I'm done.
I'm done. Interview over. Just get this fucking camera out of my face.
That would be pretty fun.
I do apologize to the Mechs on Deck fans.
We had some fun games that night.
All right, you guys converted to just a game stream because of that.
We're like, all right, we'll figure it out. No, but thank you guys. My first question, above all, is the fuck is a Taeha?
Is that still a thing?
That's still a thing in my heart.
Oh man, I don't know myself either.
Getting philosophical already. Guys, if you don't know him, if you're into keyboards and you don't know him, I would be shocked. This is Mr. Nathan Kim of Taeha Types. He is arguably the pioneer of bringing keyboards as close as we can to the mainstream while not being a vendor, although selling some fancy bags along with Dixie and TX keyboards. But he has built dozens of keyboards for very extremely popular streamers, as well as professional keyboard, or not professional keyboard, but professional gaming community. So welcome, Mr. Taeha Types. Thank you for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me. After what I did to you guys. Glad you guys didn't burn the bridge yet.
Unforgivable.
No, it was pretty funny because I was like, I don't think he remembers. And she was like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's still streaming.
It's okay. Forgot that.
It's okay. We had fun that night. You know, we got to play some golf with friends on stream. We did some Jackbox.
You guys diversify content.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to give a quick shout out to a couple people. Rick, I know you subbed a little bit earlier. Thank you for 10 months there. Thank you for all the follows. And then Exo Squid, thank you for the tier 2 1 month sub. Appreciate that. Ooh. And then Rob27 Shred, thank you for the 1,000 bits, saying, what is a Taeha?
The world will never know. Mix, we'll get to that. That will actually be a good conversation topic. And we will get to that question here in just, I hope I'm saying that right. I believe it's just MICZZ Mix. That would be a good conversation topic. But before we get into it, quick shout out to our sponsors, Dixie Mech, SwitchMod.net, Project Keyboards, as well as Canon Keys, all have awesome group buys running. And as well as our partners, Zap Cables, Type Beast, and Smith and Rune. Be sure to check those guys out, as they all have. We need to update a couple websites on there, but they all have their respective websites, so please check them out. We did this last time.
Wait, question.
Yes.
Is partner different from sponsor for you guys?
For us, yes.
Oh.
We classify it as a partner is more of just someone we would highly recommend. Okay. And while they usually will help us with giveaways and they'll help us with other things, we don't like get a kickback from them. Where most sponsors will get a nice kickback from them using our link. or like a percentage off. So, but with like someone like Zap Cables, they were there for us. He was there for us very early on.
Yeah.
He tries to keep his prices as low as possible. So whenever we were talking to him about that, he was like, I can't really offer that, but we can offer other things such as like giveaways a lot. So, which he's done lots of giveaways. So,
yeah.
But it's just easier to classify.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just was wondering because I don't have a distinction currently for myself, but
so it's
nice to see what others are doing.
It helps with I get used to get the question asked about Zap, like, oh, what kind of like do you get a kickback, or is there like a spot, like is there a code? I'm like, there's not a code for Zap, but Osiris and I both use Zap Cables pretty much exclusively. So as well as like Type Beast doesn't offer anything outside of a newsletter, so it's kind of we had a discussion a while back about like we should classify this.
Yeah, definitely.
Differentiate a little bit.
Yeah. But as you have answered, the last time you were on this show formally like this was actually in August. Things have changed since then in the keyboard world.
Yes, sir.
It's our fast four. Top 4 favorite switches.
Well, this is top 4 favorite switches.
Mm-hmm.
What? As of now, alpacas.
Ooh.
H1s. Any of the new Duroc linears, really. Topra. Still a classic for me.
Chat's just like he's crashing the market.
Crashing the market.
All right, guys. So I built this board last night with alpacas. I'm going to desolder them. $40 a switch. So just hit me up.
I don't want to say another linear because I've already mentioned 2, but I guess MX Black still I really like. Good ones, smooth MX Blacks I like.
Interesting to note, no Alps on that list.
Yeah, crazy.
And it was pretty much all Alps last time.
Okay, I'm trying to control the market somewhat. I need to hoard a bit more Alp switches before they become impossible to find. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at the spreadsheet that our mod Brez put together, and last time it was Topra, Cream Alps, and Vintage Blacks. So, but I think that was before the alpacas and mauves and the whole JWK Duroc linears have really kind of taken over.
At those points, yeah.
If there was like a
gotta watch out for Mr. Kairos Strand, you know.
Yeah.
I gotta help him continue to source those keyboards, otherwise we won't get his videos anymore.
I need like a TV back here that's just like stock market of creams and it's just crashing as fast as possible while alpacas is going the other way.
It would be nice though if it was somehow possible to like track prices of things being sold, see a visual representation. I mean, it's very hard, but if it was ever possible.
I know that there was kind of one for Holy Pandas before Wave 2 of Holy Pandas.
Someone like scraped.
Someone like when it was just like average monthly, and it was like 5 months, and it literally was like $1, $2, $3, $4.
Okay, interesting.
That was a long time ago before the Jesus switches came out, and then the Yacht switches and everything else.
When pandas reached $5 per switch, which is still insane.
There are some people that I know that literally are like, I bought like $600 worth of pandas in like September of 2018, and they were like, I feel so stupid that literally 3 months later, they were $1 a piece, if that.
Yeah, it was. It's just a weird time because like everyone was under the assumption that the panda housings were never going to get made again. So when when it all happened, it really kind of threw a wrench in the panda market. But
actually just crashed.
Next up will be your top 4 favorite keyboards.
Oh, keyboards. I've been really liking the Rukia that I've built recently. Really liking the Rukia. I don't know if I've. I also recently got to try out the Matrix 1.2 OG, which I also really liked. I have a personal 8X V2, which hasn't been built yet, but I'm looking forward to building. So hopefully that'll turn out nicely whenever I build it. That 3 so far, 2, 3. Can I say the number 3, even though it hasn't come out?
Sure.
I mean, why not?
I mean, what's been released is pretty
kind of polarizing, but that side profile is just so different from anything we've seen. I personally found it really refreshing. I'm pretty excited about it. Like, it's actually something different.
Yeah.
The fourth one. What else have I tried? Oh, I've personally really liked the stuff that Cozy Fanatuti's been putting out with his super DIY kits. It looks pretty cool once it's fully built, and it sounds pretty nice as well. The couple that I've built, they've all sounded pretty nice. Doesn't like feel as premium as like an aluminum case per se, but I think for the price and what you get, it's a really nice experience.
Yeah. And did you get your acrylic board?
No? I don't want to talk about that right now.
What happened?
USPS and mistakes, not only with USPS but PayPal and a particular apartment complex. So,
unlucky. Sorry for bringing that up. Was not aware. Man, some good boards there. And again, chat's talking about how you're going to destroy the market with your things, but with your thoughts. But hey, a man can enjoy a keyboard.
Yeah, just kidding. My favorite board is the Razer Huntsman.
There it is. Bye now.
I noticed that left the background on the stream. So
yeah,
does that mean it's on your
anything specific? But it looked a little too cluttered, so I'd change it up a little bit. So
I was gonna say it's on your desk. So
that's true. Yeah, that's why you don't see it back there.
All solid choices. We'll say that you absolutely. You can absolutely pick one that has not come out yet, but top 4 favorite keycap sets.
This is hard. I don't even know what came out this year versus last year anymore. There's so many that's come out. Bingzu was last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can say that still.
No, that's last year. I won't say it.
Ooh.
Oh, PBT Islander was one that really caught my eye. I really like the whole Animal Crossing color scheme. What else? Was Dracula last year? Dracula was last year.
Yeah, October of last year.
Probably Ashes I've also liked. GMK Darling I also really liked. Purchased that set. And what else? There's so many sets. Name me some sets that have come out
this year.
Oh, Redacted. I like Redacted.
Redacted. That's like in the same vein as like the number 3 in terms of like doing something completely different. Just for like innovation. Like we were talking with Dixie during the 24-hour stream we had a couple weeks ago, and it's like it's having sets like Redacted and GMK Dots really freshen up the like norm of the GMK sets and like the norm of the just like, here's some colors, making it a little bit more, interesting, a little bit more crazy, a little bit more off the cuff as some would say.
Definitely.
It's nice.
Yeah. It's a shame it's pad printed, but still, it's very nice.
It would have been like $400 GMK set.
I don't know. I might pay. Oh no, okay, I wouldn't pay $400 for the promo shop version of Redacted. I mean, okay, never mind. I retract what I said.
That's like
Do you retract it or do you redact it?
ooh.
I retract it.
There you go.
Oh,
There-
Dixie's in chat. The pad print is the fun part. No, it's not fun. I don't want to see
You don't
that
want,
like scribble disappear from using my keyboard too much.
you don't want to see what's underneath?
Yeah, I mean, like,
Okay, here I'm gonna ask a quick question. What do you think about shine on GMK keycaps?
I think I embrace the shine. Like I
Okay.
use all the sets I have. It does make my life harder when I'm photographing it for like Instagram and whatnot. And I do think shine looks nice if it's consistent, but you have to go through that phase of getting it consistent on every key. But yeah, I embrace the shine. I use all the sets I buy. I don't really care if it shines or not. So
Yeah, I think
You're
that's
sending me it's mixed signals now though. You're like, oh, I don't care if it shines, but I don't want to use this set. Like, I'm just messing. I'm fucking.
no. It is. It's one of those things. Shine is. I enjoy shine. I think people need. People need to shine their sets. Like use it. Don't be afraid to get it shiny. But I can see
Shine
the,
your sets, crease your shoes, guys. Come on.
yeah,
can see
I
the
do
pictures.
wonder though. I don't know if people like consider a photo bad if there's shine. Like maybe that would be an interesting like study. Are people less inclined to like or like upvote a picture if there's shine on it versus it's a brand new GMK set? Do I need to start buying 2 of every set? I have started to buy 2 of desk mats in some cases just because like they get so dirty from use. Like I use all the desk mats I have too.
Mhm.
And it's annoying, but I mean I buy the products I purchase to use. So
How many desk mats do you have on your desk right now?
right now, I got 5. 5.
So I did. You know what's funny is last night for the stream, I have my main one, which is Hexagon Dark, which I just.
Oh, that's what I'm using right now.
Oh, there you go. It's the best one.
Yeah.
I am gonna get the masterpiece. There it is. The masterpiece one, the like black and gray checkerboard, just because it's very similar. I need to pick up a second one, but I have my build mat under it. So usually when I do it, I build it, but I switch between my Dixie build mat and my Kanekys build mat. And so I was just lazy. And I was like, I'll just throw the Kanekys one on over it and just go like full Taeha and just start stacking them up.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort to roll it up and then put it away.
I have a drawer that has like 3 of them that's just dedicated desk mats that I swap in and out of.
How many desk mats do you own though?
Oh man,
Do you own-
probably over 10.
Okay.
Well over, especially if I add my wife's collection in there.
I own 2.
You only have 2 desk mats.
I'm not a fan of desk mats personally.
What? Are you even a keyboard content creator?
You know, I have 2 desk mats. No, I prefer to use the mouse pad that I have. I have my Zowie GSR mouse pad that I like.
Okay.
I don't like the feel of my keyboard on a mouse pad, especially like multiples, because I don't like the extra like flex of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think you're just weird and crazy and wrong.
You had to add in the wrong portion. I was okay at weird and crazy, but the wrong really kind of hurts there, bud. But no, we have the last question. The one that has nothing to do with keyboards. What is your top 4 favorite foods?
Top 4 favorite foods. I'm pretty sure it was top 1 last time.
Oh, you gave 4. You gave 4.
I gave 4 last time too. Really? Katsu. I absolutely love katsu. I also really like burritos. I guess it's in the third choice. It's a Korean dish. I guess I should say it in Korean. It's called sundae. If you translate it, it's like what pig blood sausage is like the translation of it, I guess. Blood sausage. And for 4th favorite dish, What is my fourth favorite food? Let's say pastrami sandwiches. A nice, good pastrami sandwich.
I just want to give you props for the remarkable consistency on 1 and 2 from last time. It was chicken katsu and burritos.
Nice.
But
I love it.
a little bit of variance there between last time it was
really?
Korean soup and Coca-Cola.
Oh, you guys took Coca-Cola as an answer? Okay, I try to give more legit answers.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's whatever Brez typed in there. Yeah. Our buddy, our good friend and moderator Brez keeps a very intense track of that. So we had a question that I think each of us should answer in our own way, and it'll be more difficult because I'm going to make the rule of this that you can't have any repeats except for stabs because there's just not enough. Says, so MICZZ or Mix asks, just wondering how would a $1,000 keyboard look like? That's pretty much my budget, and I wanted to have a good keyboard. And I'm assuming this is caps and everything.
That's very vague.
So I guess like your ideal
if you are in chat, is that caps everything? Or
let's
is
just
that,
do caps everything.
He's here.
Let's just do caps everything. Do your ideal $1,000 budget board.
Everything. There it is. Because
that's rough, Jeff.
I'm assuming we build it ourselves, right? We don't have to.
Yeah. I assume you built yourself.
Because Jeff Leopard brings up a good point of you can go with almost any layout at that price point too.
Yep.
Yeah, 1,000 is a lot, even if you're including keycaps.
Man, I could give you 2 for 1,000. Give you like 2 really good ones for 1,000.
Well, I know off the top of my head for keycaps, I would probably go with a CRP keycap set. Very high quality PBT, and the recent drop doesn't have a huge compatibility, but it covers some of most of the standard, not most, but some of the standard ones. I'm a TKL user, so that's got me covered. And the recent round was pretty cheap because the kit was so small. I think it was like 100 per kit or so, not too much over 100, I think, if I remember. Which leaves me with 900 for everything else. I mean, 900, you can get a Keycult keyboard for retail price, and have extra cash for whatever else you need. I could hire a builder to build it for me as well, with that leftover cash. So probably that. Yeah.
What about you, Chewy?
I'm working on my list right now.
You're working on your list? Okay, I'll come up with something. So I'd probably go. I'm gonna try to go with things that are either like out right now or like you could probably get pretty easily. So I'd probably go with. For a keycap set, I'd get something like Redacted or Masterpiece. Those are kind of my 2 favorite sets that are running right now. Obviously, you got to wait a little bit to get them, but you at least know they're coming. And then I would pick up probably, if it's the first board, I'd probably either get the Savage 65 or the upcoming Wrecked 1800. The Wrecked 1800 is going to be a great option for people who are like sentimental about their numpads and don't want to get rid of that and want to have like the most compatibility, the most ease of use. And it's still a great board and it's not super expensive. I think that would put me around like the 500 mark, probably, maybe a little bit more. You could even get something off of like Mech Market at that price, $1,000. And then probably
one of every color tofu.
Yeah, right. And then I'd probably get something like just like regular Zelios, like Zelio V2s for the Switches. Just because like they're so consistent, you don't have to do a lot of work on them. And then that'd be it.
All right. So I've got mine. talking in-game flexing. All right. So you got the Tend, which after shipping is probably going to be right around 450-ish, depending on where you are. For a gasket mount 60% board. We're going to throw Zycos in there because we're talking in-game right from the get-go. Got $180 worth of Zycos. And then we're going to throw on, because Tend's coming in gray and ultramarine. So you're going to get this Tend in gray. You're going to PSL this. You're going to pick up Modern Dolch round 2. Because you're going to throw Modern Dolch round 2 on a round 1 gray Fiel colored Tend. And that's going to be sitting at $800-ish, give or take your options on keycaps and what you want to do, leaving you still $200. Maybe you pick up a case for it. You know, maybe you go Zeal Stabs. You know, screw it. Why not? You're already going to be ordering Zelios. Throw some stabs in there. You got $195 to work with.
Yeah, you could get an SKB flight case.
Yeah.
Someone's saying custom cable too to match it.
Exactly. Custom cable.
I mean, a Limo cable is pretty expensive.
Dude, Limo cables are a bitch to build. Just full disclosure. But yeah, you can go hard on some of these. Or you could spend all your money on an Evolve.
That's also true. You could do that. You could also spend all your money on like a board off of Mech Market.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that'd be worth it. I feel like the thing is, and we talked about this on Monday, is like a lot of these boards that are commanding super high prices on Mech Market that are like older are not as good as boards that are out now. Like the M65A, right? Like it's not a bad board, but it doesn't necessarily compare with the other 65% that are being released right now. You know, you're paying $500. You're paying more than what you would retail for like an iron, you know, or even a like.
Wait, M65As still sell for $500?
Yeah, on Mech Market.
What?
Exactly. And which is crazy because no one that's buying them remembers that the board was like $250, $275 at group buy.
Wow, that's insane. I mean, oh wow, okay, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's a weird thing. We had a conversation with Chewy earlier this year about how boards from 2018 I think are going to hit a super high peak this year in pricing. Like they're gonna kind of skyrocket because people are going to be looking for them, because they're going to be those boards that people who are just now getting in the hobby or just got in the hobby last year. Those are going to be all the boards they saw on Reddit and stuff when they were first getting in the hobby, and now they're at that point where they're kind of like looking for something better. Maybe they're looking for something that was considered to be their end game back when they first started.
Yeah, those grails that are popping up. But I'm disappointed you didn't say Toper board with Hypro. I thought you were a true elitist like me.
You can't. Well, the Topra board with Hypro that I would want would be well over $1,000. I mean, the keycaps alone would set me back more than $1,000.
So Baka 60 is my Grail board. Thank you. That's all I'll say. Is thank you. Aim higher.
Aim higher.
Aim higher. Let's see. Little Geo is here. What's up, Geo? That is because like $1,000 is honestly $1,000 runs up dry in Mech Market way faster than like a group buy. I'm sure the number one run is probably going to be up there in price, but if you're able to get one, at least you'd have some time with the rest of your $200 and then maybe save up a little more for some other stuff. But I mean, it is pretty crazy that you can get for $1,000 realistically, you could get, we're seeing GMK sets go for $100 that would outfit a TKL. You could get a gray or black number one put Olivia on it and $100 worth of switches, you can put inks in there and have like basically the most hype beast like looking keyboard on Reddit and go, oh, I've got my number one TKL with GMK Olivia and Gateron black inks, and watch the upvotes just start going through the roof. So it's
I mean, $1,000 it's actually a pretty big budget, assuming you can get everything for retail.
yeah.
It's just the issue of how many are being sold and how big of a chance do you have at getting it.
Yeah.
But $1,000 is a lot.
I think that's a big thing, is like a lot of people who are, just now getting into the hobby, or maybe they're just looking to purchase like their next, a board that's at the next level in the hobby for them. Maybe they have something that's like, maybe they got like something from KBD fans and they want to move up, or maybe they have something kind of at like the middle tier and they want to see something on the higher end, see what the quality is from something like a Key Cult or the other big players in the game. There's a lot more value in trying to get into something at the group buy, and there's a lot more value at group buy price than there is at mech market. Like mech market's just insane.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
M60 going for $750. No one should take that deal. That board is not worth
$750. I did hear about that on my Discord this week.
Man.
Really?
Yeah.
That board is a fine board. But I'm 90% sure $750, that's dangerously close to a 100% increase. And that board is not worth double of what it is. Most boards are not worth double of what it's paid for. Like, especially a board that was not a limited group buy. So that's my opinion. Next on deck, as content creators, what is your favorite part about getting to be a content creator, and aren't you allowed to say
you aren't allowed?
You aren't allowed to say the cop out, the community, or the friends I made, something new. Opportunities to build and see cool things. Like this can be taken the wrong way, and I apologize. But as content creators and as people, and I know all three of us have had this opportunity. We get to have opportunities to build boards that we might never have the opportunity to build if we were not content creators. Or getting offers to build stuff like early, like prototypes. Those don't go to everybody. And I love the fact that someone will approach us and go, hey, we've got this prototype that we're working on. We want to send it to you, and I want you to review it, and we want you to see what you like about it and show it off. And that's something that is really cool, because it's this kind of like literally a year and a half ago, I was sitting around watching 001 Anthony and Top Clack, and I even started when Nathan Kim was streaming to about 20 people. I was one of those 20 people.
Yeah, Chewy was an early sub.
I had the like longest, or I was like number 3, I think, for a long time.
The scale I still use on my stream was one that Chewy recommended.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I still use it every day. But I remember watching that and be like, man, wouldn't it be cool if I could just like get to build some of these boards? And now I get to build these, so it's really fun and awesome.
What about you, Nathan? Yeah. What's your?
I kind of mentioned this in my recent 100K celebration video too. I mean, I said something like I can like rob companies of like their products and like give it out to my viewers. But on the more serious side, like I think that is the cool part. Like I get to work with brands that I otherwise would have never been able to like even get a response from. Like because I'm a content creator and I have a following, brands, like I'm kind of like the gateway to certain brands, for example. I can't say names, but certain brands a couple brands actually have reached out to me within the past couple months. Like they want keyboard expertise on like how to improve their current line of offerings. So I think that's really cool getting to work with brands on that level. But I guess that's also cop out because that's kind of copying Chewy's answer. So if I had to name a different thing that's cool about being a content creator, the creative aspect of it, I suppose. It's not like there's a right or wrong. Yeah, it's not like there's a right or wrong, and you're not like working on like finishing a product per se. Content creation requires a lot of creativity, and for me, like as of late, it's been in like how I make my aesthetic appear, how I set up my studio. So I've been trying to become creative with that. Obviously, videos you have to become creative with. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over. So just kind of pushing myself in the creative sense, which I also didn't do much growing up. I've been enjoying as of late.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think for me, and I imagine for Chewy as well. Both we've talked about it before about how we were both musicians, both in bands, and then not doing that. Being a content creator kind of scratches that itch of creativity for us. You know, having been in some sort of band or played some sort of music or some sort of creative activity from, you know, like early high school until like 2 years ago, and then not having that, it's just like I didn't realize how much I missed it until we started doing this, and then this kind of fills that and makes me strive to do more, to try to change things, try to innovate on what is happening and what we're doing, to try to keep things fresh and new. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's a little bit more just from me. But I think you both kind of nailed it on the head. Because it's hard to say, not just the relationships, right? Like, because you meet so many people and you get, I was talking to them before, like I have a group of people that I play games with every night that are 100% from this channel, right? From being a content creator in the keyboard community. I met these people that I play games with every single day. So while that is kind of a cop out, it is true. The community is pretty great, and the people that you meet. I love the ability that, like we got to go to NorCal this past year just based off of this channel, which is huge. And whenever KeyCon happens, we've saved up channel money and we're using channel money to go there. So the ability to do that and meet with the people that we've met online, our online friends, have them become, in real life friends, is huge.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I don't get to enjoy that anymore. Whatever I make is technically part of the job. But yeah, I do agree. Like one thing that content creation helped me with before I went full time was it helped fund the hobby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. It is nice. Now, we can show most of the things that we get are not, we don't really spend that much money from the Mechs on Deck like budget, really. I think we've both gotten a keycap set.
Yeah.
Like I got Taeha. like we haven't done a whole lot of stuff from that, but usually it's just coming out of our pockets still. But it's crazy the amount of support you get from this community. It's like it's still insane, and it baffles me. Like I think one cool thing that I really like, it kind of made me feel really proud and very prideful about it, was like when I get I'll get people who PM me asking questions about keyboards, and once again it brings me back to like 2 years ago when I was PMing Man of Interest and I was PMing Anthony, asking keyboard questions like, hey, I'm just getting into the hobby, can you just walk me through this or whatever. And both those guys took time out of their day to walk me through whatever I needed to help with. And so that's why I do my best to respond to every single person who has a question, just because it's like I'm just another person that happens to put a camera in my face and has some spare time. So it's rewarding to know that I've put in, while yes, I've put in a lot of work, that work is paying off and that people are interested in the stuff that we do. So
Real Effects, thank you for the sub.
Osiris does most of the work, let's be real. But no, it's a lot of fun. So my next question. So last time we talked, you had just announced that you were going full time, which kind of shook the keyboard world. I remember it was definitely talk of the town. So very exciting to see. You are what, 10 months in, almost 9-10 months in.
Around there, yeah.
So how's it been? I mean, you've been consistently streaming at least 3, but I'm pretty sure 4 times a week, if not more, for multiple hours, multiple times of the day as well. And
Yeah, well, it's been great. I'm very fortunate that I went into content creation like eerily at a good time, I suppose, with like what's happening in the world. Yeah, I'm like very fortunate I can still continue to work. Like this is my job now. So yeah, I haven't seen too many negative effects in that sense yet. But it's been fun, yeah, and I've been having a lot of fun getting to work for myself. It's very rewarding knowing that what happens now is all based on you. But it also takes a toll on someone. Like if you do something poorly, and that's also 100% on you. So it's a double-edged sword. But I've been having a lot of fun. It's been very, I guess, liberating to focus 100% on like what I do now. Whereas in the past, I was trying to juggle between, do I like hang out with friends or use that time to stream or do keyboards? Like now that this is just my job, I have more time for other things as well. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun doing it. It's a lot of work, obviously. Not many people like see what actually goes into each stream and it's like what I do, but I've been enjoying it. Yeah.
Nice. So Dixie asks, what is the thing you are most proud of from your content creation?
Hmm.
Haven't heard from Osiris. I'll let you go first.
Oh, are we all answering this?
Yeah,
Content creation. Oh man, I don't know. Man, that's hard.
I know. I consider my greatest achievement the fact that I helped contribute to Holy Pandas reaching $6 a piece. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Let me think about this.
Everyone's seen that video. That's still, I will say that still comes up when people will go, how can I build a board that sounds like the Fiel Holy Panda board? And I'm like, buy a Fiel, buy some Holy Pandas, bingo. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's that simple. How do you want to make a Fiel with Holy Pandas sound like that?
The best is when people are like, I want a board that sounds like this, but I don't want that board. And I'm like, well, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Too bad. Find another board then, bud. Sorry.
My answer to Dixie's question, kind of along the lines of what I said before, but I think maybe taking the plunge to do it full time. I had a pretty stereotypical and traditional Asian upbringing of like strict parents. You had to go to school, you had to get straight A's, you had to be good at this and that, and it was a very big plunge for me to break that stereotype in my family, I guess. So I would say that was a big move on my part.
Yeah, I think for me it was probably the actual the going of NorCal. I know we bring it up a lot and I talked about it earlier, but that was like one of those moments where it's like Chewy and I were looking at each other like, we just went on this trip for 3 days and we didn't pay anything. And we didn't go somewhere that was like super cheap. We didn't like stay in a motel, and go camping or something. We went to, San Jose, California, and we're able to do it and not have to pay for it, which is pretty crazy. We were able to do that. So
I don't really know. Okay, so like full disclosure, when it comes to like content creation, I have actually like what you physically see, I don't have that large in part to do with that. What I do is come up with ideas. I usually come up with topics. What you see is not me. I just set the camera to what Eric tells me to set it at, buy the lights that Eric or IME or you but tell me to get. And then I have a basic understanding of like, this is how things kind of look good. I'm like, cool, great. But when it comes to like content creation, I think like my proudest achievement, I don't know. I came up with the idea of doing the Keycap Creator Month, which set us on the trail of doing guests. But other than that, like I don't like it's weird saying I am a content creator because I feel like I'm just using the Mechs on Deck thing that like I obviously Eric and I have equally put in things, but we put in very different aspects of the channel. And so while I come up with ideas of what to talk about and I figure out who we're going to talk to and reach out, and one thing that I am fantastically good at is just being able to strike up a conversation with someone and become really good friends with them in the 15 minutes before them coming on stream. And you know, for anyone who's come on stream, that's one of the few things I know. I'm good at keeping people loosened up in the 15 to 25 minutes before we have to go on and force these people to talk. We always talk about the story with Mentorly. So the first time she was ever on anyone's stream was on our stream, and she refused to be on camera. And then
until that day,
until that day, her friends basically bullied her into doing it.
Oh,
and so, and like, it's stuff like that where it's like, we just gotta, like, in the next 15 to 25 minutes, you know, we start at 7:45 so we can get camera stuff set up. But a lot of that's also, if we don't know you, we have to come up with some sort of chemistry in that short amount of time and then channel that into having an hour and a half to 2 hour long conversation. So
yeah.
So, someone said Zycos are content you created.
I mean, I was gonna say, I don't think the Baka 60 would have happened in the same capacity or maybe at all without Mechs on Deck.
No, it wouldn't. It was it definitely, the Baka 60 wouldn't. Zycos, maybe I could have gotten lucky, but it wouldn't have gotten as popular.
They'd just be called Murkies. Come on, dude.
Yeah, Murkies, dude.
Well, I don't think anyone considers you, Chewy, as like less of a face of Mechs on Deck. Like, even if you are more involved with the behind the scenes, like when I think of Mechs on Deck, I don't really think of either of you guys as like a sidekick. You guys both are like mains to me, in my eyes.
I also talk more on Discord.
As I say, like Chewy, I would say if there was more of a face, it would be Chewy. I'm not as vocal on Discord.
I'm more distinguishable.
It's very
someone.
true.
Okay, this is actually funny. At NorCal, someone literally walked right past Eric. And came up to me and said, "Hey, Chewy, Mechs on Deck. Cool. Where's Osiris?" And I was like, "You literally bumped into him, walking right by him." So, Chewy's beard is the face. I love that. So we got some other questions. If you had more time, what new keyboard related content would you like to make?
I had more time.
All the shit that I would want to do is like really boring. And I'm sure like there are 15 people that would love it. But like I would literally sit there for like 12 hours with like a billion different switches and different loops and just be like, and now here's a Zelio with 70 gram springs, and here's a Zelio with 72 gram springs. I'll just go through but then it's like, it's hard to be like, let me explain to you how this feels so minusculely different. Like the tiny differences. Let me explain this to you. Like it wouldn't be really possible.
I've said this a couple times. I would love to do like a podcast / video cast, like what you guys are doing. But there's already a lot of people that do it, and I feel like I wouldn't add. There are other areas where I could add more value currently than starting up my own podcast or video cast. But I think it's great. I think it will be great and fun to do, and also just to like diversify If not video casts or podcasts. I would like to do more like interactive streams other than a build stream, but still keep it keyboard related.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that I want to do more of is something that's not necessarily as like realistic with the way that the hobby is. And that's the fact that, like, you know, if you look in the tech community, a lot of the tech like YouTubers and content creators revolve around a lot of like reviews and sharing their opinions on products, like having hands-on of it. I wish that we could do that. I would love to do more of like review stuff, and like those kinds of content. But it's one of those things that's like hard unless you get prototypes of boards. You can do something, but a lot of times a prototype is going to change between what's there and what is actually getting shipped to people. As well as it's basically impossible to do a review of a keycap set that doesn't really exist yet. Like you don't have it in hand. So, but I will say, if you did more of the video like you did with Norbauer, that thing was awesome.
Yeah, that took a while to make. I actually followed Norbauer around on multiple occasions, which kind of happened to work out. But yeah, I would love to do more stuff like that where I can take the time to like dial things in and actually produce it. But it's hard. It's hard, yeah.
Very nice. So we got, who's it? Urban Lime. Assuming you're involved in the hobby already, which group buy do you regret missing out on?
Wait, can you repeat that question?
Assuming, like, basically, what is a group buy that you regret missing out on? I guess he's saying, assuming you were already in the hobby, so one that you had the ability to at least try for but didn't get.
I would say just like, what group buy do you regret missing out on most, just in general?
TGR 910 RE group buy. I did not care much for 65% at the time and thought it looked whatever. And then I started building a couple on my build streams and I fell in love with it. Yeah.
We talked about that last night, about how that board kind of, for a lot of people, brought the polycarb craze into the community.
Yeah, it was one of the earlier polycarbonate keyboards. Yeah, definitely.
Mine's the Grid 600.
Oh, why?
I don't know. I love that board.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just a cool ass board that will probably never get run again, but it scratched all the itches that I love about keyboards, and I think it's just a unique and cool board. And I've been in love with it ever since I saw one in person at the Houston meetup. It's just a cool board. It's just a really cool, unique 60% board that I feel like gets left off of a lot of lists because it is a tray mount board. But it's unique. Not a lot of people have done stuff like that. So
Yeah.
And I had the ability to get in on it. Like that. I remember making the decision saying,
Man, this is a hard question for me to answer, because I feel like when I would answer this question before, it was always the M65A, but I feel like now I don't really think of that board in the same way I did, especially because I'm like, got two pretty awesome 65% right now, and an Iron 165 and a Bauer, so I'm not really like in for that. Man, this is hard because there's not really anything.
can also be keycaps.
Can also be keycaps. True.
Or cables. Cables have group buys too now. Oh no, just
Artisans.
highlight.
Artisans, kind of. That's kind of side by side.
Yeah,
Not really exact, but
I'll say the classic, even though I didn't get in on plus
round
plus.
two. I knew you were going to say this.
Olivia.
Oh,
GMK
Olivia
Olivia.
Rodwell.
GMK Olivia, because that was the one time where I was like seriously considering purchasing something, and I was like, it was in my cart, and I was ready to buy it like for the entire month that it ran, and I didn't ever purchase it, and then I regretted it for a very long time until round 2, and then I was like, I'd rather have dual shot.
It was pretty funny. Eric and I, we've been through a lot of hobbies. We have a lot of shared interests. It's very rare that either of us get like jealous of the other one's thing. I have never seen him more envious than whenever I showed him Olivia, and he was just like, "Fuck," like visibly upset. I could tell that he was like, "It's better than I wanted." Like he was like almost going into it like, "Don't like it, because if you don't like it, then you'll be okay."
Did you manage to get one for?
I got it in group buy.
No, Cyrus. I mean, or just wait.
No, I never got it. I just kind of decided.
Okay.
I kind of fell out of love with this set in a sense.
Mhm.
Just because
Popular.
well, it's not that it got too popular, it's that it just kind of like, I don't know, I think my taste kind of changed in what I was into a little bit. You know, I like a lot of the more like monochrome sets now. So I don't know. I'm not as into it, and I think I kind of fell out of love with the actual pink.
Mm.
You know, I really enjoy GMK 8008, which I have on my Bauer, which is a completely different set, but I think kind of filled the void of a pink set for me. I actually like it better. I like the darker aesthetic of it. So,
let's see. Hold on. CF Canner, what's up? Also, you're making my phone buzz constantly. Let's see. If you could take a single board from any other presenter's collection, what would it be? Are you talking like who asked this? Hold on. I need to DZ Slasher. Are you saying like another content creator?
I know what I'm taking from Nathan.
Yeah, is it specific just to Chewy and Osiris, or just keyboard content creators in general?
Keyboard. He says yes. So content creators. We're saying we have to take a board.
Like take like a board that they own.
They mean just from the three of us. Okay.
Oh, just from the three of us. I don't even know what you guys own.
All right. Well, I can do a quick show off. I have.
Oh, I know Chewy has a TX65.
No. One, how dare you ever assume that I have a 65% board? Two, I've got my 60. I've got rid of my TX boards. I have a white Fiel with your caps on them.
Ooh.
I used it all week in preparation.
Mm-hmm.
I have a round 1 Singa with Moto and Holy Pandas and Polycarb.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Baka 60 with Mizu and Holy Pandas. There's a trend here. I have my Austin, and I have this OSA with alpacas that I built last. That's mine. There would be a list. There should be a list of Eric's boards somewhere. Sorry, I'm throwing shade at Osiris.
I haven't put my list together.
He's got the cooler stuff right now, though.
I have
I know what I would take, but I don't actually think you own the board anymore. You had a box CP in not copper.
Oh yeah, that one disappeared a long time ago.
And I still think that's one of my favorite all-time boards that I've ever seen built.
Yeah, the antique finish is really nice.
Yeah, I had the antique brass TX60, but after making the Baka, the Baka was made to be better than the TX60. I love the TX60 a lot, but I saw the flaws in it, and I was like, I want to improve this. So I did it that way.
But he doesn't need to grab it. He just needs to list it.
Gotta show it off. Gotta flex.
What?
I said he said he doesn't need to grab it, he just needs to list it. And I was like, gotta show it off.
Okay, so I have my Baka, which is Cerakoted in OD green with GMK olive.
Ooh, okay.
I have my TX60, which is in antique copper with GMK minimal. I have my Bauer with GMK 8008
Ooh.
with palm plate and mauves. I have my Osa with GMK waves. It's also in gray, which I think Chewy and I have the only 2 in gray, or there's 3 in gray.
Stash is the third one.
Stash is the third one. And then I have my Iron 165 in plum with GMK 9s.
Wait, has the Iron 165 shipped already?
Sort of.
To me, it has.
Okay, I'm expecting. I'm waiting for mine too.
And then I have 2 boards that don't have caps, which is a Sirius and my Orange 75, which has Hyperfuse on it.
All right, I know what I'm taking. Well, first, none of you guys have a TKL, which is unfortunate, but I like the
Got one's coming in.
Oh, okay.
One is in the mail. Not in the mail, but like it's on its way.
Yeah, I take the Bauer, no questions asked. It's got a palm plate and the mobs. Easy decision.
Yeah.
So someone said make it you have to take one from each person.
Oh, one from each.
Mine's easy. Well, I don't actually know really, Nathan, what you have, but I do like the look of that Norbauer, but I hate Topra.
What? You hate
I know.
I know I'm taking the Sirius from Osiris. Hands down.
I would take the Bauer from Osiris and maybe the Osa from Chewy. I've never tried the Osa.
It's very fat. It's a thick boy.
Tried an Alice.
I love the Alice layout, so
you've tried it. So
yeah.
I know I would take Nathan's number 2.
Ooh, which one? The stainless steel?
Stainless steel, 100%.
Good choice.
But that would fill my TKL gap, which is one that I need to fill. I guess I also technically have a wrecked 1800, but it's not mine. It's a prototype. And then I would, from Chewy, what would I take? I'd probably take, I'd probably take your Fiel.
It's a good one. The OG Zyko board.
Was that the one you brought?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I got a Cerakote.
I thought I felt something else. I thought I felt the 1800 keyboard from you that at the Zykos.
Maybe you went and felt someone made the Austin with Zykos.
Okay,
and then IMEURU made a Rukia with Zykos.
But that was at the NorCal meetup?
That was
the only Zyko board that existed at the NorCal meetup was mine because IMEURU hadn't figured out that he liked it. And I only have Capsy Zykos. That's who it was. I only have IMEURU to credit for someone being like, for Zykos even being remotely popular. He just like yelled at me about how much he liked it.
And people are saying that they're going to take your goose kit.
Mine?
Yeah.
It's not special anymore. It's entered group by.
It's true.
Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes. That's a good question. I enjoy that. I would easily take your. I don't really know what you have. Do you still have a Fiel?
I don't. Well, that no, I don't.
Not that one. I don't. That one.
I don't have any Fiels.
What 60% do you have, if any?
I have the gasket, the HHKBs. All variants.
What full size lens do you have?
I have 0 full size. Oh, I have my Topra High Pro 104
God
UG.
damn it! I don't want fucking Topra.
Chewy, just
That's
take one
the
of his
only
Alps
full-size
boards.
keyboard I have.
I guess you know what? I'll take the TKL number 2. Why not? Because
No, take his Lin Whale, dude.
sure, that one. Nathan, clearly you and I have very different tastes.
Yeah, we have no TKLs. You have like almost solely TKLs.
Yeah, most of mine are TKLs.
Let's see.
Just take the Huntsman, Chewy.
True, I have the Razer Huntsman.
Yeah, boom, Razer Huntsman. Send it to me. He has to lick it first, though. Let's see. What is something? All right, that's screwed by you missed out. What is something you don't like about the keyboard community? Trolls. And Trace of Base, the Rukia is an Alice style board.
I mean, it's close. It's like a.
It's like a 60% with 3 extra keys.
Man, the thing I don't like most about the community is, the certain people who just feel the need to be negative all the time. Like, just have a little bit of decency and be positive sometimes.
I think I said elitism last time.
People are like, that's just Reddit. I'm not even talking about Reddit. I don't even get on r/mechanical keyboards ever.
Oh man, I don't browse that much.
Yeah.
That subreddit much anymore. I did post recently a couple times, but I don't really browse that subreddit anymore.
Yeah, the only time I get on Reddit is if I get like an email and it's something. I get like an email from our Reddit account and it's like something that I'm like, ooh, what's that? And I click on it. It's literally my extent of getting on r/MK. And even Mech Market. I used to find myself looking at Mech Market like semi-regularly. I don't look at Mech Market at all.
It's risky.
What do I hate most? It's hard. Do you have an answer, Chewy?
I mean, I said trolls, but I don't know.
Right.
People who expect other people to do things. They're just like the expectation of like, hey, do this for me, and then get mad. And I'm like, I am another human. I have a life outside of keyboards. I do not live to do this. Like, if you would like something, like one, if you want me to do something for you, maybe ask nicely. Don't demand that I do this for you. Or then I've had people who literally do this or this. I'm like, don't threaten me. I'm like, I don't need to be threatened. I didn't get into keyboards to be threatened. Like, so
Yeah. I think there's also like an inherent, like people feel like they need to know everything that is happening with everything. I'm like, why can't you just like chill for a little bit, you know?
yeah,
You don't need to know the entire life story of what's going on. So.
Ooh, I love when people say, I've seen this happen a few times where someone, well, Chewy thinks this. I'm like, I never fucking said that.
Oh, I get a lot of those.
Like, and I've seen someone in chat just the other day. There's someone I think in our Discord that said like Eric thinks this. I'm like, I can tell you 100% that is not what Eric thinks. Like, I don't know where you got this from, but please.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my answer's still the same. Just the elitism that's still inherent, and the gatekeeping. I feel like just there's not a lot of people watching out for the newcomers. Like someone has to do it. I've adapted and shifted my content to accommodate for the newcomers, but yeah, I feel like especially on Discords, like people can be very hostile to newcomers. I mean, granted, sometimes it is warranted. Some people just come in you just cause a mess. But like there are genuine people who are willing to learn. They just don't have information or don't know where to get it because there's still a big need for information, especially in a cohesive manner. But yeah, I feel like we need more people just to guide people on the right path.
Yep. Hands down.
I like Dixie's question that's asking about
I was just about to get to that one.
is what is one thing that no one really notices that much or may not be a focal point, but is something that you really care about, i.e., stream graphics, lighting, jokes, banter, etc., something like that.
I don't know.
For me, I guess one of them, branding. I'm like very big into, not that my branding is great, but I would like to think I focused on it a bit more than some other folks have. Like I grew up like paying attention to brands and like just like the overall image you have as an entity. I think it speaks a lot, especially on like first impressions. Like I'm kind of known for being like the mellow, jazzy, late night kind of put in the background kind of thing streamer. Of like the colors I use, the like there's a font that I use, just like the general vibe I have. I mean, not that that's something that I like work towards. I'm not like putting up a front in terms of like personality, but like branding, like
Taeha is the
like
Barry White of keyboards.
what was that?
Since
Oh.
Banana Etiquette Taeha confirmed Barry White of keyboards.
Yeah, and like I also like watch a ton of like other YouTubers who like focus on branding. Like I like when brands have a branding to themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's something that I don't, there's not anything I look for. Like obviously higher quality stuff. Like if you have a nice camera, it's very easily noticeable versus something like a webcam. That's like number one. But honestly, I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody else. I am going to put them on the spot. If you want to look at someone who does it right and does it perfectly, Alex Odos. Alex Odos is to me, one of the best freaking streamers because he's so good at talking. He's so good at being friendly. And everything looks crispy and awesome.
We're flirting with him.
Dude, listen, everyone knows I have a huge
Are
crush
we
on
going to see a split in Mechs on Deck?
I mean, I'm gonna, grab Alex Odos.
No, Chewy's got he's flirting with him hard the past couple months. No, for me, I think it's also it's about having like somewhat of consistency and having like the quality be there. I think that's something that everyone struggles with, especially when they're first starting, is trying to get their quality kind of up. You know, if you don't have a background in photography or a background in something that's like media related, you know, it is expensive to get into if you want to kind of like, not that we necessarily compete, but for lack of a better term, to compete with a lot of the streamers out there, it seems like the bar continues to raise in what the minimum quality is, right? Like, you know, if you have a background, you have all the equipment, it's a lot easier to get into, but it does get expensive. But I always want the stream to have a cool, something different, you know, little things, I think go a long way, because I think there's like little things that happen on streams that take a lot of time to figure out. Like even from like our starting soon screen, right? Like it's something that I built, that I saw a video for a plugin and I was like, I want to see if I can make that into a starting soon screen. And I figured it out. Like that's little things like that, and I enjoy doing that. That's one thing that gets me excited, is like seeing these videos about how to make the stream better, or new ways to utilize like different plugins for OBS or something to change things up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like gear, that's something everyone should eventually look to improve, but
Mhm.
it obviously is a great financial investment. Like I've invested way more than I need to and should at my current size, but it's just like the gearhead in me. But I mean, it is one way to improve your presentation and one that can leave a pretty big impression as well.
I think, Osiris and I have talked hours and hours about this, about, you know, it's interesting. You can even watch just from X on Deck when we did our 1 year little anniversary stream. We kind of went back and looked at the quality of like our very, very first YouTube video to now, and the bar just kept getting raised. Right. It was like, oh, did this. And it's like, oh, okay, top clack. And that was just kind of what we were used to. It's still solid, but the older top clack stuff, not anything to write home about compared to now. And then Taeha came in and made everything look extremely pretty. And it was like, okay, now we have to make things look pretty. And then
I look back at my first stream sometimes. I'm just like, holy crap, people watch me like this.
we used to do like you get the camera set up like here, like
yeah,
awkwardly, and then now it's like, oh, okay, this
like
is
just the colors. I mean, I look at my old edits. Oh, it's so bad. I mean, I'm still working on fine tuning things, but man, it's crazy how people were around back then to look at what I did.
Yeah, I think that's one thing. It's like just growing.
Yep.
I think it's
just getting better.
Yeah. I like trying new things. Like trying to like changing things up and just making it different and trying to find something little that maybe could change it. That maybe it's not something that people notice, but it's something that could be like something that they don't even realize is differentiating you from something else, Because I think there's a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to find, there's this interesting thing of like, you kind of, there are a lot of keyboard streamers now. So it's becoming more and more difficult to differentiate yourself and what makes you special, what makes you want to watch someone over someone else or follow someone's schedule or whatever. And, quality has to be there, but then on top of that, how you stream. And and trying to make it the same, because we've talked about that. We're like, we can't be Top Clack, we can't be Nathan Kim. We have to find our own niche and then dive bomb that. And then if we need to change, we have to shift. And streaming is kind of its own art outside of keyboards altogether. Like I feel like in the last 6 months, I've watched more stuff and learned more and cared more about the actual aspect of streaming than even actually keyboards. Because it's kind of like the keyboard stuff will come eventually, but streaming has to be, you have to put your best foot forward. So
yeah, I feel like nowadays half my time is spent like watching and learning like whether it's editing techniques or like efficiency, workflow, or like how to improve like my setup, like with what I have, like how can I utilize it to its fullest. There's a lot of that goes behind the scenes.
So Fundle Lol asks, what do you think the custom keyboard scene looks like in 2021? More in-stock kits, higher prices, etc.
In 2021.
Yeah.
Oh,
next year.
That's hard. Well, if this pandemic wasn't happening, I feel like I might have had a more concrete answer, but I'm honestly not sure how this pandemic, once it dies down, is going to affect the hobby or the world. I think we'll definitely see lower prices for sure.
Yeah.
Like there will obviously be an increase in demand for higher end products as well, but I think the lower end market is going to grow much faster than the high end market. So
yeah.
I think we're going to see, I don't know about in stock. I mean, people are definitely moving towards in stock or trying to, like Dixie's moved to a bigger warehouse recently. Novel Keys, they've already outgrown their current space. Keycap moved to a warehouse as well. So we're seeing vendors move and get bigger spaces, which hopefully means at one point they'll start having things in stock a lot more, but lower prices for sure. Yeah.
I think we're going to see. I don't think GMK is going to be on the top anymore. I think it's going to be way more of a level playing field. I think GMK is. These delays are becoming insane. And if for those who haven't been in the hobby, SPSA used to be huge. It used to be like right up top with GMK. And then SP got known for, oh, they're going to take 14 months to ship your order. And that fell off very fast. And it was kind of like right when the community exploded, SA just fell off the map and they just don't do the amount of stuff that they do anymore. And when GMK continued to keep skyrocketing, and now we're seeing the kind of aftershock of all these sets that they're starting to run, and you get, Olivia and Dracula selling 3,000 kits and all that, you're starting to see this backup. And I think GMK is going to start, it's going to start bleeding some. People are going to start going, well, let's look elsewhere because GMK is already backed up, a crazy amount. Have you seen Dracula ship yet? No. They still have to make 3,000 sets of Dracula before they make a lot of other sets. So I think we're going to start seeing a shift into branching out into different options.
I'd like to see more innovation on like board materials. So not just like aluminum. I think we have some people trying to do that right now, like, NK65 doing the injection molded plastic, and then what Mint Autumn is doing with the Oompa Loompa TKL that they want to make, or the UHMWPE, aka Oompa Loompa. But I think there's also a lot of opportunities with other different material types that can help drive pricing down a little bit, and still give you like an insane board for a pretty fair price, pretty low price. I think that will really help because one, we need, plastic is a lot more readily available and more inexpensive than the metal counterparts. So I think it'll help with the community's need for more products as well. If we have more open, like plastic boards, something like along the lines of like what, Project Keyboard did with the Sirius, what they plan to do with that board moving forward of trying to keep it in stock. Stuff like that will be great.
Yeah. It is shocking though.
Charlosaurus. Thank you for the 10 gifted.
Oh. I feel like it is a little shocking how some vendors still don't fully understand, or how like disconnected some vendors are from the community. Like I feel like GMK, SP for sure, still don't really have a grasp of like how much growth it's seeing. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even know like the majority of the content creators out there right now. As SP for sure doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my guess is that GMK will still be on top next year. Like I would have to be in a parallel universe to see SA become the most popular Keycap profile. But like CRP, for example, I think they're doing a lot of adapting. Like their compatibility sucks currently, but they're trying to bring back good PBT keycaps in a profile that people like. They've got die summing down to a pretty good point. They just need to work with the community a bit more. So I feel like Cherry profile will still be king.
Yeah.
But maybe we might see a new manufacturer that has new Cherry molds that's going to start to compete with GMK maybe, or help offload some of that burden.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think, it would take a few years of these backups to cause GMK to completely fall off.
Yeah.
But I think that gap is going to get a lot smaller.
Well, I think what you'll see is the market share of GMK is not going to continue to increase with the growth of the community. I think what's going to happen is GMK is going to kind of stay a little bit stagnant with what they're doing, whereas that hole is going to open up for these other people to get in there, like CRP, your Infinikis, your SPs, to kind of step in and do more. And we've already started to kind of see that with how many. I mean, look at EPBT, or not EPBT, sorry, Infinity Islander is at like 1,200 kits sold right now. It sold 500 in the first like 10 hours. And then Cat has just gone crazy. You know, it seems like there's a new Cat set every month, and they continue to do really, really well.
One thing I'm concerned though, not many people have tried Cat.
No,
they're buying it
true.
for the aesthetic. But when they feel the profile, there might be like, wait a minute. So that's kind of worrying because there also aren't many Cat Keycap sets out right now. Like I have Cat Alpha.
Yeah.
That's like one of 3 or 2 sets that I've shipped from Cat. So
I think it did. I think Milkshake shipped, or it's just like halfway shipped.
Ship what? Oh, okay. I haven't received my Cat Milkshake either.
I think it's like halfway shipped. I think it's shipped.
People are starting to get them.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
So GPNW asks, talk about a bored nostalgic project, whatever, from your journey.
Oh, sorry. Say that, something nostalgic.
Talk about a bored or nostalgic project or whatever from your journey. I assume just like something memorable in your keyboard journey.
Oh. Mine would be collecting the Duck series. Like, I think Duck custom keyboards were one of my first loves getting into the custom scene. And I had like a unspoken competition with God, who doesn't really participate in the community anymore. And I'm pretty sure his collection was always very greater than mine. But I at one point owned most of Duck's keyboards. So I feel like there aren't many creators nowadays who have like a series of boards that like drive people to collect. And I kind of miss that. Yeah.
I mean, that is a cool aspect. I know Dixie's teased more of the, kind of the Bauer series, and then Iron has teased. Obviously, they have the 180 coming out from Smith and Rune, plus a couple more on the way. But for me, I think there's a lot of like cool stories that we have about keyboards between Chewy and myself. I think one of them is kind of like the way I got my Orange 75 is something that's like really kind of like in the moment. Like it was right time, right place, right time, perfect timing. Everything. The way it lined up. Like we were sitting on the couch in his old apartment and we were talking about boards. We were actually talking about possibly doing this, possibly creating mechs on deck. And I was talking about how, man, I really wanted an Orange 75 and I was upset that I didn't get one. And I was looking on Mech Market and someone had posted Orange 75 wants PayPal, and they were in Texas, and I messaged them. They were in Dallas, and I was able to meet up with them the next day and pick it up. So it's just like a weird kind of like happenstance, perfect timing kind of thing. So that's probably my most nostalgic moment.
I guess I have 2 because it's the only 2 things I feel like outside of like creating content, I feel like I've contributed to the hobby. Discovering Zycos was a big deal for me. I remember sending a message to Eric being like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I just did, but like, holy shit, I can't wait for you to try these. And then opening up the box of Bacchus and just seeing like a board that I designed come and it become something tangible was really cool. So
yeah, that too. I guess that's another one for me too. When Mr. Sleeves finally shipped, and then seeing people really like it when the group I failed when it ran, that was, I guess, another like nostalgic moment for me. Yeah, it's very rewarding when you like take part in a physical product coming to life, and then that saga actually ends. Yeah, it's a type of feel.
When are we going to get Mr. Sleeves round 2? And I'm not talking about blue and pink. I'm talking about the orange and red or orange and yellow Mr. Sleeves.
There was a phase when I worked on it this year, and then it's been kind of put on the back burner again. Yeah. But hopefully before the end of the year, I'll have something out.
Let's see what's next. So Prime Frankie Wan. What are some things you would like to see change in the future for this hobby? Anything you're hopeful for? I don't know. I like the hobby.
I'd like to see changed.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that we all want things to be a little bit more in stock, which is not like, I think people always say, man, we need more in stock things, but some people don't necessarily understand the difficult side of that. Like Nathan brought up earlier, people are just now moving into larger spaces where they just have the ability to actually carry things. So we're just finally kind of getting closer to where we can actually do that. But I mean, I don't know. I think one of the things that I want to change is I think a lot of people have a stigma. There's a lot of stigma around the hobby getting bigger and being more commercialized in some senses. And I think it's one of those things that it's kind of inevitable for it to happen because the hobby is going to continue to grow. It's just natural. And it's really like that's what the hobby needs in order for it to succeed and for it to continue. But we have to support the right people who are in it for the love of the hobby and the love of keyboards. And there's luckily a lot of the people who are in the positions that they are, like with vendors and stuff, are people who were lovers of keyboards first before they became vendors.
I'd like to see more brick and mortar stores.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm not blaming anyone. I mean, it's not really a blame. It's just we're not there yet. But there's no. I want more avenues for newcomers to try things out. Like currently, newcomers just have to purchase things and kind of blindly spend money and hope that they like it and experiment that way. But like it'd be great if you can just walk into like an Apple Store equivalent and just like try a bunch of stuff out before buying it. I think that would get a lot more people into the hobby as well. But we're like at like an iffy spot where it's too risky to invest in. Maybe it's not, but how long will it last? A lot of unknowns currently. But it would be nice if we could have physical locations.
Yeah. My answer seems very like Gib, but like it'd be nice. I think it's awesome that the community can support you, Nathan Kim, as a full-time keyboard content creator as well as just streamer across the board. I know that you've obviously diversified. It would be nice to see more people. Doesn't necessarily have to be us, but it would be nice to see 3-4 other people. I feel like, when you go to this hobby, it's like, well, who's, with it just being kind of one, somewhat 2 or 3, there's some people that kind of, what their work situation might be slightly different, but it would be nice to see this hobby be able to support more content creators. Not that they don't support them enough right now, but to be able to support more content creators at a full-time level. And we're just not there. We're just not there yet.
Yeah.
Not quite yet. So,
but I mean, I think you brought up a good point. One of the reasons why I've been able to go full-time is because I've diversified. Like, I'm pretty sure I would honestly say the majority of my chat has probably never felt a custom, but they've just kind of discovered me on Twitch or YouTube, and they're just kind of sticking around waiting for the right purchase that they're trying to make or just learn more before deciding to commit. But I think that's one thing content creators currently aren't doing. They're not very great at diversifying right now. Like go raid people. Raiding is one of the greatest way to like just create small talk with other content creators out there. go raid. But like, I don't think many people use that feature on Twitch.
Or they just use it within the little community. So we're just tossing
and
the
like,
same people around. Yeah.
yeah, and like all my viewers, like they always say, "Oh, go raid like another keyboard person." Like, yeah, I would love to raid keyboard people, and I do from time to time. But I feel like you're just recycling the same group of people over and over and over. You want to expand out to new markets, new people, and convert them to come into the hobby.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think there is support for there being more full-time content creators. It's going to take content creators to reach out and grab it and market themselves in a way that'll open it up to more higher viewers, to more of a, like you said, more approachable at the newcomers.
Mm-hmm. So let's see, next question. Okay, so Taeha mentioned needing more folks to teach newcomers that are getting into the hobby. What do you each believe is the biggest gap or need in the community that isn't currently being filled? I think one that is severely not there, that I feel like not only us, but everybody says like, oh, we'll do this. And then it just never gets done for whatever reason. So like Linus and Bitwit and Paul's Hardware and Jay's 2 Cents, they all have videos that they make every year. They make an updated version every year of like, I'm going to walk you step by step on how to build a computer. And then they do, this is what you need. This is why you need it. It goes here. You screw it in like this. And I feel like there's really not that in keyboards. I feel like there's not this like, I'm going to walk you, like you stream it and you kind of explain, like we all kind of explain, oh, I'm doing this because of this, but there's not like a edited cut video that people can go, I want to know how to learn. I want to solder and build a keyboard from the ground up. And there's not that just kind of like 15-20 minute video. So I think that's one thing that and it would be cool that if a lot of us did it, because then there's more people making this video, so that you can have these different, like, oh, how do they do it versus how do they do it? Because in this hobby there are multiple things, that there are multiple ways to do things, and just because one person does it one way doesn't mean that's the finite way or the best way for you. So
yeah, I'm partly to blame. I'm behind on my guides and tutorial videos. But yeah, that I agree. Which is why I've decided to cut back my streaming as of late, and actually sit myself down and force myself to film dedicated, easily consumable YouTube videos for newcomers to take in.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
and I know you've said that before about how I think YouTube is one of the biggest gaps in the community. We have so many Twitch streamers, so many different content creators here on this platform. And we do have a couple on YouTube, but there's nowhere near as much. And that's like an even larger platform. Like 1 million people a day look at Twitch, but like,
well, I think most of the streamers have a YouTube channel.
They do, but they're not putting out content.
But yeah,
that is
we're all literally just exporting our VODs to our YouTube channel,
which is different, right? Like the
Yeah.
YouTube viewer, the dedicated YouTube viewer is there for the 10-minute, 15-minute video, not there for the 2-hour VOD,
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot there that could be done. But it's one of those things, it's like you just got into. YouTube videos take a lot longer. It's a lot easier to turn on your camera and record you building a keyboard for 2.5, 3 hours, and whereas a video, if you're trying to record it and trying to cut it down into like a 10-minute, 15-minute segment, it's going to take a lot longer on the back end from editing and stuff like that. So
yeah, and I've spoken about this many times too, but my biggest deterrent for not making myself make YouTube videos is the payoff.
Exactly. That's the other thing.
I could spend a week trying to make a tutorial, and I'll probably make like $20 off AdSense the first week. Like I used to consider like any content creator who took sponsorships sellouts, but I understand now, like it's hard to be a YouTuber nowadays unless your videos are getting multiple millions or you're constantly putting out videos that hit millions. Like it's hard to make a living off YouTube. And that's why people take sponsorships, so they can get themselves paid for the amount of effort they put in and to account for like the times they don't put out YouTube videos. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
it is a worry I've been having, like, because I'm cutting back on my streaming, is my sub count gonna go down? But we'll see. I feel like the need is greater, and I'm still seeing the support, so it's been nice. Yeah.
I did want to ask a few questions about your streams the past couple months since you went full time. Seeing you diversify into gaming and doing more of that on stream, what was that like at first? Were you scared? I know when Chewy and I have talked about it, and we've talked about it with other content creators in the keyboard hobby, there's always the stigma of this isn't what people want to see. This isn't the content that they're looking for out of me. What was I was dealing with that stigma, if that was there, and getting over that.
I was not scared at all when I decided to start gaming on stream. I split off into a secondary channel knowing it's not gonna take off very well. I mean, like, the conversion has been terrible. I broke 200K on YouTube today, but I'm at like 16,000 on my gaming channel. Like, the conversion's terrible. Thank you. But yeah, like, the conversion's terrible. I'm also to blame because I'm not a great gamer. Like, the moment I start gaming on stream, I probably lose like 60 to 70% of my viewers. They just leave. There's no reason to watch me game on Twitch. But I decided to do it because it's my channel, it's my content. I can put out whatever I want. And like, on a platform like Twitch, I felt like gaming was appropriate. It's a way for me to de-stress, but also just hang out with, the loyal viewers who stick around for that as well as to also just attract newcomers into the hobby. So that's why I started doing it. I have an editor for my gaming channel who I pay for, like, to make those videos. I started it off knowing I'm going to lose out on money. Like, I am not making anywhere near enough to compensate for what I've paid my editor in terms of the AdSense coming out of it, but it's just a pet project of mine, and if it does well, it does well. We'll see at the end of this year if it's something that I should continue to do or not, but yeah, it's just something I wanted to try out.
I think it's great.
Sorry, you go.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it frightens us because we have, I mean, you are a Twitch partner. It is you did that grind. I remember watching a lot of because you used to stream almost exclusively on the weekends, and then you started streaming more during the week, and you were doing kind of your path to partner thing, and that's kind of something that's always held us back. Is like, well, if we start, people come to us for keyboard stuff. If we start gaming, people might not like that, and then if we see like a 60% slash in our numbers,
and it hurts your numbers for applying.
That's going to greatly affect our ability to get partner, which gives us more ability to do cooler things. And then we've talked about multiple times, like the second we hit partner,
because we have the
roadblock is out of the way. It's just we can do whatever we want and be thrilled about it.
Yeah, but I mean, I also spoke about this when I was on Top Clack too, but another big reason for my starting to game again was to connect with non-keyboard streamers. Like, I can raid a channel, but if I have nothing to talk about with them and they don't know keyboards, like, that's the end of it. But like, if I raid a League streamer, I understand the game, I know how to play, I can make some kind of small talk and maybe something might come out of it. So that's another reason why I started gaming on stream.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's great. I think we've talked about wanting to do it, wanting to have at least one night a week or every couple weeks where we do some sort of gaming, whether it's things with chat or just playing games that we enjoy. Because it's one of those things. Chewy and I have always talked about how we want people to be here not only for the keyboard content, but for us as people as well, and for our personalities. And I think that also plays into it a little bit. And it helps, bring up maybe some things that aren't necessarily shown in just like the conversations that we have. Just something a little bit deeper.
So, see, we've got Someone said, "What's the next big hype trend in the community?" I think one thing that we'll probably start seeing is now that Key Cult, the number 3, did that crazy design. We're gonna start seeing.
Oh, I can't wait for the wave of.
We're gonna start
that
seeing
side profile
and all this stuff that's like, and then like in 5 years, people are gonna look back and be like, "What the fuck were we thinking?" So that's my guess. And that is like a legitimate guess. I think that will actually happen.
I feel like we're not too far off from exotic material. Well, not exotic materials, but different materials. Once Project Keyboard ships out the FC65, I mean that felt really nice at the SoCal meetup that I went to last year. I think a lot of people are going to be happy with it, and it's going to open the way for other designers and vendors to test out that material. Like I've been getting into custom knives recently. There's a lot more cool materials out there, and I'm sure there's a market for people who are willing to pay for that kind of price, but I think that has the potential to be the next type.
The Panda, don't go breaking my heart, man.
Oh yeah, no, talk
No
about the Lumina.
Oh,
No, don't talk about the Lumina.
All right, Jack Static's also working on as a UHMWP case.
Yeah,
like I feel like people are getting sick of brass and aluminum, and we need new materials coming out.
Yeah, I think there's always a hunt for what's the next like cool thing. You know, 2018 was like big for polycarbonate. 2019 was
Palm.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think obviously I'm gonna go with a little bit of a cop out because it's already kind of started. And that's the injection molded plastic with the Kara and the NK65. I think
that's because they're established. You're not gonna see some random person on Keycap. Well, I mean, maybe they might pay for the injection mold costs, but yeah.
I think, but I think for real, I think that could be huge. I think you'll see other vendors who have run keyboards be like, "Well, I got to hop in on this too." If they're selling this crazy amount and they're able to offer it at this low price, it's something that can be a consistent, market for vendors that are trying to do more, right? That are trying to have a consistent influx of money, but also products. I think that'll be great.
Very nice. Custom accessories to go along with group buys asked by DDD clients, basically like cables, artisans, desk mats have started to grow. What's next? Or what would you like to see?
Hey, Pierre.
Also,
thank you for the host.
So, honestly, one thing I would love, I want some mugs. Just give me a Keycap mug. Give me a Keycap themed mug.
That's not an accessory for a specific board, though.
But it's on your desk. But it's like you just get a key set.
Oh, hello.
I guess because like a lot of desk mats, artisans, cables, that's all going off of a key set. Right? There's not really accessories you buy with your board outside of maybe some matching artisans here and there, but like a Keycap group buy, I think that would be something cool to have. Like we've seen like the modern Dolce had a t-shirt. That was really cool. I think people like that a lot. But we haven't really seen anything else. And there's not really a whole lot from the like I think it'd be cool if you did wrist rests. Like if you did like a run of wrist rests that had, the theme of whatever keycap set you're running on it. But
I think I'm surprised this doesn't happen more is matching PC cases. A lot of people who get into the custom mechanical keyboard scene, they're into like battle stations.
Yeah.
And they show their tower on their desk. I've talked to a couple people about potentially doing this, but having like your keyboard theme match your PC case. Like if it's made out of metal, you could easily Cerakote it or powder coat it. So I'm surprised more people aren't doing that.
I think there's lots of merchandising opportunities, I think, in the community. With like things that are not super expensive to do that you could make fit your like a keycap set or a board or something, like maybe like a Rama mouse bungee would be cool. or that from
Mouse. Imagine using a non-wireless mouse. I'm just kidding.
But still, you know, like there's a lot of people who use glorious mice. There's a lot of people who use wired mice still. Not everyone's on the G Pro Wireless or MX Master 3. I think those are the ones that you have. But I think there's a lot of opportunity with stuff like that kind of fits into the same niche. But then also I think there is a huge opportunity in like actual like t-shirts and stuff. I think there's a huge opportunity to make clothing for keyboard stuff, as long as I think if you keep it to where it's going to make it not 100% about keyboards, because if it's too much about keyboards, it's not going to do as well as if it's just a cool design that looks good to everyone, right?
Yeah, I feel like merch, there's also tons of ways to utilize that too. Not a lot of people doing keyboard merch, really.
You can get some cool stuff. Like,
are there mechs on deck merch yet?
Not right now. We
It's
haven't.
coming.
We
I've
haven't
been working on it
We've
without talking to Chewy.
been saying, wait, what?
I've been working on it without talking to you.
There it is. We've been saying it for months, but we haven't actually gotten anything through with it. But I know the thing with that is I want something, and then Eric will want something, and I won't argue with it on him. So I'm just like, you do it. I don't care. Because I like very simple, and Eric has a very different design ideas, and I'm just like, pick your battles, right? Just like, you can do this because I don't have to wear the shirt, and then we're good, right?
Yeah, I think you have to do so. A couple people are like, yeah, no one wants stuff like that. No one would buy it. And it's like, you have to make stuff that is like not 100% keyboard oriented. Something where when you look at it, it's aesthetically pleasing, where it's like, regardless of if this has to do with keyboards, you're going to want it, right? Like if you throw a outline of a keyboard on a shirt and you put something in the keyboard, or you have something that's got switches all over it and you make it about keyboards, it's not going to do as well as something that's a cool design inherently that may be subtly about keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
Done the merch game before.
Yeah.
That's why, I just don't like, I think it would be cool to do a desk mat, and that's about the extent of my desire, I guess. I know merch is kind of where the money's at, because a lot of that money is going straight to you, or you pay a designer a little bit and then it comes back. But if you can make a good chunk of change doing merch, that is something personally that I'm just like, I have a hard time getting behind, other than like stickers or a desk mat. I think would be, stickers are always fun, because then you can make like shill jugs.
Yeah. And I feel like you also need a decent following before, like stickers are a lot easier to digest than like a hoodie or t-shirt that someone puts out. So
yeah. And as Dixie says, if MOQs are low, because that's the one thing you don't want to do.
Yeah.
That's with merch, it's like,
for
like
shirts, it's a lot higher than like keycap sets.
Yeah, but it's like, do kind of the group buy method. That's even easier to do, because then you're able to plan. But if you just buy 100 shirts and then only 20 people buy them, you're going to take a huge loss.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that makes it risky. Someone says, I'm very new to this hobby. Plan on building my first custom within the next couple of months. Are there any TKLs within the 200 to 400 price range? Keycaps not included. I would go, they're releasing more KBD 8X Mark IIs, and I would definitely start there.
Yep. Tons of stuff coming up on KBD.
The 8X Mark II is a very solid board from them. So other than that, if you guys have more questions, just at Mechs on Deck. And we can happily answer. So I would love to do custom shirts with custom fabrics and custom everything, but I am not a fashion designer, says Dixie, and I don't have the time. So focus on something far away from the core of your business.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's hard about doing like merchandising, is that it's like a completely different ball game than what a lot of people are used to. Like,
yeah, and especially in the keyboard community, I feel like it's relatively like there's a couple of people who already have merch up, but they already have a pretty strong following. And like yeah.
Well, it's because it's one of those things. It goes back to what you were talking about earlier. If you can get merch going, it does help with your branding and your entire company's aesthetic. I know someone talked about it earlier. They brought up 100 Thieves, which is a great example of like that took their company, their merchandising, and same thing with FaZe Clan. Those are two like esports companies that use their merch to push their company to a different like stratosphere in terms of the way that they are viewed from a brand perspective.
Yeah, 100 Thieves is goals. Yeah, I mean, his story is insane. He started off as a content creator, and now he has this mega esports organization.
Oh,
Snip.
all right.
So we got a couple of thoughts on the Clarabelle.
But the that's the 75% from
it's cool, it's unique, it's doing something different. Am I going to buy it? Probably not, but that's because I have a Singa.
Yeah, I won't buy it, but I like the fact that it has the switch opener. That's the one with the switch opener thing, right? You can just pull it out, like the little badge is a switch opener.
Wait, why is it called the Clarabelle? I thought it was
Oh,
the
that's
Bella.
the Bella. Oh, that's the Bella. Well then,
What is the
I
Clarabelle?
have no idea what the Clarabelle is. Man, it's hard to keep track of all these names. My apologies.
Oh, it's a Southpaw Mini 1800.
oh no thanks.
Oh, I remember that one.
Oh.
I don't like Southpaw boards because I am not a Southpaw.
I'm left-handed and I don't type left-handed. Like I don't
Same here
use
as well.
left-handed, so it's just awkward. I've thought about doing a southpaw, but I need I can't do the control like that. I can't even do HHKB.
Peter Dozel asks, how many sets of GMK Greg are y'all going to buy?
One. Well, maybe two. We'll see.
I'm
Yeah.
good.
0. Yeah.
I'm all right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a real problem for me now. Like, I just have too many items. Like, I can't keep buying stuff.
Like
Well,
that's
like I should at the same time because
Or
I need to showcase like the latest things in the community, but I don't have space to put it anywhere now.
that's the thing we were talking about the other day. Is I was like, I forget what sets I'm waiting on because it's like there are so many sets that I'm waiting on. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh wait. It's like every time I'm like, oh, should I buy this set? And I'm like, wait, I'm waiting on like 7 sets right now, and then I'm find out that I'm waiting on another one, and I'm like, all right, I need to calm down for a little bit. So,
let's see. What are other hobbies, collections outside of the key world? I collect slideshow statues. Very nice.
You collect what statues?
Oh no, sorry, I don't. I was reading the question.
Oh.
Tessa asks, what other things do you collect or other hobbies? She collects or he collects sideshow statues.
I collect decks of cards. I recently got into I actually got a new knife in recently. Today. I've started collecting custom knives.
fancy.
So I've been like, yeah, they use a lot more interesting materials in the custom knife scene. So I've been learning. It's not focusing. Knives as of late. I'm not quite an audiophile yet. I guess photography, videography gear, that's a hobby, I suppose. I collect stuff.
Yeah, I saw one of the
That's
YouTubers
it
that I
for now.
watch. One of the YouTubers I watched was an extra in an episode of Community. That's that's a video. He does video gear. I don't know if you watch Potato Jet.
Oh yeah, I do. Wait, he was an extra.
He
in
was an
Community? I
extra
didn't
in
realize.
Community.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, Potato Jet's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. I was like, wait, and then I paused it and I looked it up and I'm like, nope, that's definitely him. So, for me, I think really I used to have a lot more hobbies. Things that I'm like low kind of into, like not like super into. Still like guitar, playing music and stuff. I pick up my guitars like at least once or twice a week. And then I'm really into whiskey. I have a lot of whiskey. I like Scotch preferably. But yeah, so I'm big into whiskey, and then that's really it. I could say like I just got these Hi-Fi Man Sundara headphones, which I really am enjoying. But other than that, I'm not really like super into other things. And I like to play video games. I like esports.
I used to collect board games. That's another thing, but I had a group of friends that I played with consistently, and then after I left, it kind of disappeared. So I stopped collecting board games.
I collect Funkos. I've got like a bunch of rows of these that you can't see, but you used to be able to see in our old stuff. I play lots of video games. And I guess kind of Eric's fault. He's not even really one, but it is his fault that I am a sneakerhead now. I buy a lot of shoes. He showed me a pair of shoes, and I was like, I'm going to own that pair of shoes. And then ever since then, I've gotten into buying nice sneakers. And I will make the statement, because I argued with someone the other day about this. I like Jordans more than I like Yeezys. Fight me.
Why was that? Like, someone is like Yeezys are better than Jordans, like overall. Yes. That is like,
yeah, I know, fighting words, right?
That's not even fighting words. That's just like kind of dumb.
Chewy, how many Yeezys do you own?
Wait, is that the general? I've always thought Jordans were
inertia, but
Jordans are classic. Like, yeah. Is that the general sentiment of the sneakerhead community now, that Yeezys are better than Jordans?
I don't think so.
Okay,
it was just this one guy.
Oh, okay, he should be banned.
I can't ban him. I can't. I'll explain who it is later. But
unmod that mod.
No, I own a bunch of ones. Are probably my favorite shoe, and then I really like Ultra Boost as well. And we'll talk a lot about shoes when Lividity comes on, because Lividity will be coming on, spoilers, next month. And so we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more. We can do some sneaker chat. But I think Jordan ones are probably my favorite.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Ones.
I don't see Jordan's ones going away.
they're never going to. I think ones, and then it's a tie between 4s and 5s. So,
yeah.
I still want a Bread and Royal set, but too expensive.
Yeah, especially now. Hyped right now.
Yeah, the Chicago ones, I can't imagine what they're going for. They were $500 before the
Last Dance.
The Last Dance. Now they're probably, I haven't even looked.
That's why I had to go get my Obsidians. I was like, they're already going up.
It'll go back down, right? Like, that's going to be a thing. Yeah,
well, Chicago's won't. Honestly, a lot of people are thinking that until it gets a re-release, specifically anything red, white, and black will not go down, but everything else will.
Well, that's because Chicago's where they were teased that they were going to get re-released around All-Star Game, and then it didn't happen. And they did like the classic pack, which was the shoes that inspired the Jordan
airships, the Nike airships.
Yeah,
they released them. They made an airship and then a red and white one. No black on that one. Do you guys feel the same excitement for products being delivered as in the beginning? It depends. If it's like a Grail board, absolutely. If it's a board that I really want, but I'm kind of like, I also have other boards, a lot of times that excitement gets dulled because Osiris and I take turns building boards, and so sometimes we'll have to wait like a month before we can build. So it just depends.
Yeah, depends.
It's 100% based on what it is. Like,
although I think the Iron 165 might break the record for fastest turnaround time between delivery and
being built on stream. Yeah, because typically that's the thing is, right, is when we get stuff, unless it's like if it's something that's like just being released and we know we're one of the first couple people to get it and we can be, one of the first people to get a build out of it, we want to put that forward, right? We want to get that out first. But then there's some stuff like, obviously like we built like 5 Bakas on stream. So it's like,
yeah, if I get a Baka,
it's exciting, but it's like, I mean, it's more exciting to build something that the chat is really hyped to see get built at this point for me, because like I know that I'm going to enjoy the board, right? So I'm not as excited about that. Like I'm excited, but not the same as I was when I first got like my first board that I built. I get more excited when I know like, the stream's going to be great because people are going to be really hyped about me building this iron or the Austin V2 prototype. Like I get more excited about that now.
Yeah. Just cool stuff. I'm sure when the Keycap number 3 will come out, I'm sure you're going to be giddy.
Yeah.
So someone asked, do you see Redacted being hyped as much as Olivia? I do not believe. I don't see that happen. I'm sorry. Like Redacted.
But what numbers is Redacted at?
But I think, well, it's one of those things. I don't think there will ever be another set that will be as hype as Olivia. I think it's an untouchable level of hype because the set did so poorly initially. Like it didn't do great. And then it came out was amazing.
And then now it's like historic. It's like it's the thing. So, but let's see. Did I miss any of these? Have you ever thought about collaborating with a keyboard designer and pushing out a shared vision? That's difficult to do because at the end of the day, you either design it, you can work with somebody and kind of push it out than yourselves. But then then it starts becoming, well, whose is it, right? And so like I designed the board with Blind Assassin. It's got his branding in there, but Blind Assassin won't go out and say I designed the Baka. We had that. He was like, this is your vision. I am helping you get your vision out into the open. So designing boards together with someone, but like if there was like the Nathan Kim or the Taeha Types key cult, that becomes tricky because it's like, well, typically you're going to like a key cult for what it already is. So it's like, it's either are you throwing a name on there or are you actually designing something? If you are designing something, well then is it your design or is it a shared design or is it they're designing something and just kind of putting your name on it? It gets really tricky.
Yeah, I mean, another thing too is there's a reason why content creators are content creators and designers are designers. Like just because I've touched a lot of different boards doesn't mean I can take that information and produce a nice design out of it. Like I didn't go into design for a reason. So I mean some people might be good at design even though they're content creators, but it's also a lot of effort if I were to like reach out to a brand right now and say, could we work on a keyboard? Like, it's a lot of work. That would have to take time away from what I'm doing currently. So
yeah, that's the other thing. It takes forever to get it to a place that can be ready to go to market with. So just
pre-built config. So someone says pre-built configurations, like you would pick the plate and it says this board with this switch with these keycaps, for example. I don't think there's really a need for that. One, it'd be hard to align keycaps, but two, I think it's if you want to know, like if someone said what would you put in a key cult number 1 or number 2 or whatever, just what would you do? I'll just tell you what I would do, and then if you want to copy that, you can.
Now, I mean, I could see there's like there's a market for that in like the computer. Like a lot of streamers, like I know, like Tim the Tatman, for example, has a NZXT PC that you can buy, and it's like his specs, right? And there's a lot of other streamers that do that with other different companies, which I think you could definitely do, but I don't know. I don't know if there's a market for it right now. I think it's going to take, like Pudsey just said, it's going to take people to be much larger of a personality. I think right now vendors are a lot bigger and command a lot more than necessarily most of the content creators. I think that will shift eventually. But I think that at that point when it shifts and the content creators are not more important, but are larger and have more of influence than necessarily the vendors do, in a sense. I think maybe something like that could happen.
It's an interesting concept. It also just depends. Yeah, but at the end, it depends on if there's a need.
Wait, what was the question?
So the question was, could you see like a pre-built configuration for like a key code? So if you wanted the
like they would sell something already built,
right? Like so they would have like the Nathan
okay.
Kim,
or at least like all the stuff for it. Maybe not built, but all the stuff that you would use would be shipped. So let's say alpacas. So they would send with the TKL, they would send 90 alpacas with it, with like, the lube you use, with the springs that you use, all that stuff.
Yeah, like your signature number 2.
Signature line.
Or your
I see.
Which I think, like I said, I think that can be, like there will be a market for that one day. I don't know if that market's there quite yet.
Yeah. So, but the other thing there too is,
I would literally make the Nathan Kim spec an actual thing.
But the other thing there too is like that can also just be achieved by saying like, hey guys, if I'm buying this board, I would buy this stuff too. So it would like the other issue with that is like that means you now have to have multiple vendors working together to put this thing together. And that becomes a way more of a logistical issue of like, well, there's that. And then if you crank the price up because of that, well, who gets that money? Because now you've got to deal with,
I mean, that's all done on the back end. Like this is just a marketing opportunity for the creator at that point, like it's just it's an opportunity for the creator to get out there and have something where it's like, now you're featured on their website, right? And it's mutually beneficial for the vendor and for the creator to be listed. So
I don't know if there's necessarily a market if it literally just sent you the parts. I feel like it would have to be assembled.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Because if you're not going to assemble, if it doesn't come assembled, you could easily find it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for the vendors to go through all that hassle of figuring logistics out when they can just individually source each component. It would make much more sense if they somehow found a way to have it already assembled and then shipped such that out of the box they can just plug and play.
Yeah.
But that would be quite a hurdle.
Yeah. Like it'd be cool. I like thinking about that. It'd be cool if it's like, oh, so I plan on doing the Baka V2, which is being renamed the Squid 60, of like selling one or giving one away. That's like, I'm going to build this exactly how I would build it. And then you get this board that I designed, and this is exactly how I would use this board. But then again, for me, I'm like, I don't know how many people would legit want like the Chewy experience.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, that's not for you to like. If it's a brand coming to you asking you, offering that, then it's like,
Then it's like
if Mechanist came and said, we want to make your Fiel, we want to do the Cerakoted white with Zycos.
I would say have fun putting it together.
Have it be called, the Chewy, the Chewy X Mechanist Fiel, or the Nathan Kim number 2, and build it to the same thing that you are and have it offered on their website. I think that could be a cool option. It could be a great marketing thing, but like I said, I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah. So, and then Rob27 Tread coming in with a clutch statement: finding your own preferences hobby.
That is a missed marketing opportunity. I'm surprised Mechanisk didn't like bundle it with the Holy Pandas and a brass plate.
Or just they send you a USB drive and your typing test.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should ask him for like a percentage of all fail cells. He didn't even use my video as like the product video for like the first week or two, and I was like, he requested if he could use it at first. I said, yeah, go ahead, use it, but he didn't end up using it. Yeah, he's a nice guy though.
There's marketing opportunities everywhere.
There's marketing everywhere, man. Guys, taking the last couple questions as we wrap up. We're going to do a quick shout to our sponsors, though, as you guys hit some questions. You can go to switchmod.net/mechsondeck, 4% off lube, springs, and other awesome stuff. You can go to mechsondeck.dixiemech.com. Go pick up GMK Redacted and then GMK Modern Dolch Round 2 right around the corner. You can hit up mechsondeck.project.link. Go pick up GMK Masterpiece. Fantastic looking set. Canonkeys.com/mechsondeck for GMK Deep Navy. Another great looking minimalistic set. And our partners Zap Cables, Type Beast, and Smith & Rune. All awesome products from all of them. So be sure to check those guys out. Thoughts on the Hex 0.6C?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I have no idea what that is.
Gasket mount full size with a knob and it's southpaw. It's gonna be big and it's gonna be expensive. I'm good.
Meh.
$250 to $300 base kit. I don't know if that'll happen.
Well, it doesn't look like there's a weight, so it actually could potentially happen.
It has a knob. No interest.
It does have a knob.
For me.
No knob. I could see this legitimately running, but yeah, I think I don't really like southpaws just in general. I think this looks busy. I don't think this would look good like sitting on a desk, in my opinion.
Y'all are single-handedly going to kill rotary coder. I mean, like the knob, my thing is the knob, what would I use it for? Right? Like, what am I going to use it for? Volume? Cool. I have a bigger knob that's on my audio interface that uses for volume. Like, that's way more precise that I can't program to do the volume.
Slider. I have both.
Yeah, that's what I said as well. Like, I don't need a volume knob that's dedicated. Like, how often do you change volume to warrant having a knob for it? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone can afford an audio. Listen, we're talking about keyboards that cost like in total like $600 or $700. Focusrite.
No, you don't even need you don't
need
an interface. I have a speaker that has a built-in, not built-in, but it has a knob that I just used for volume.
You can set a macro up. And that's what I have a macro. It's function Q and function E. That's volume down, volume up. Like you can do it just through, if you're doing speakers just through your monitors, do it that way. It's not necessarily needed, in my opinion.
Or page up.
If you like it, by all means. If you find amazing use out of the volume knob, go for it. But Dixie, check your PMs, bud.
I have a sneaking suspicion that he was the one that thinks the Yeezys are better than Jordans.
Oh,
it actually wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you. I'll be happy to tell you.
Ooh, I mean, if that was his, I might have had to de-sponsor Dixie.
Well, Nathan, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on again, as always.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It's always fun.
You know what? We're gonna channel our inner Nathan Kim. We're gonna find someone that is streaming something not related to keyboards.
There you go.
Ooh.
And we're going to blast them up.
What are you thinking, Chewy? You want
I don't
someone?
know. Going under Valorant, and I'm just scrolling down midway.
Let's not do Valorant. Let's do something different.
We're not doing Overwatch.
I don't want to do Overwatch.
Let's do NBA 2K20 and just put Yeezys.
I mean,
No,
that's
that's
not
a-
even a game that uses a keyboard and
Controller.
mouse.
Who's doing making crafting something cool? Who's making like art? This person's making bracelets.
Then just pick someone. You don't want to go with someone that I know. Then pick someone.
I'll figure something out. If we want to go with someone you know, that's totally fine.
Okay.
That I know?
Are we doing
no, Osiris.
J3? I want to do someone that's not sitting with 2,000.
Hey, listen.
Maybe get the boost going.
I know him, though, so it's okay.
That's totally fine that you know him. Just saying we can help someone who maybe doesn't have 2,000 viewers right now.
And you can pick Chewy. But
We'll throw it up. All right, this person is hugging a dog, so I might choose them. I don't know. Nathan, who do you want to raid? You know a lot more people.
Let me check my friends list.
Who's up and running?
my dog's
What's
name is Anubis, by the way, Sean.
There's an artist online, a couple just chatting streamers, a Halo streamer, Dead by Daylight streamer. Any takes?
Let's do the artist. Why
The
not?
artist. His
Just-
name is First Garden. This person actually is somewhat into keyboards.
There we go.
First Garden.
Yeah, first. The first being with a number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll type it in chat.
Real artist hours.
All right. Raid is starting up. What are we gonna say?
Yeezys are better than Jordans.
Yeah,
Let's get this
Yeezy
man-
greater than Jordan's.
Let's get him tilted.
Or-
Person is
Oh,
about
man.
to be used.
So what's coming up next for you, Mr. Taeha
You got a big
Types?
stream tomorrow, man.
Yeah, front paging tomorrow, building a keyboard for I'm a Cutie Pie. Have a couple other big profile builds lined up. Been working on YouTube videos behind the scenes as well, so hoping to have those. It's hard to put out one a week. What else? I've been working on merch as well, but still making progress. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, thank you very, very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And everyone go use your Twitch Primes on Mex on Deck. Support your local content creators.
Only if you live in Dallas.
Well, we do appreciate all of the follows, the subs. Kate the Great, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub, and C Great earlier for the tier 1. We do appreciate it. With that being said, I think we're about to raid Mr. First Garden or Mr. First Garden.
All right.
Sorry.
Oh, the raid went through.